Alright, so welcome to another episode of SAW.DESIGN Designer Interviews, and welcome to the show, Jill.
Well, thank you for having me first and foremost. I love your platform. Well, now I'm doing better. I mean, like, siguro naman everyone in the beginning of the quarantine, parang everyone naman felt a bit off or pushed back. Same with me. In the beginning, parang may konting anxiety and stuff like that. But then now it's become more bearable. Doesn't it doesn't mean that it's okay, but then it's become bearable. And when it comes to like work, I guess like nasanay na rin. So yun, parang now I'm okay. But yeah,
Yeah, okay.
yun.
Thank you.
I'm okay.
Thank you for actually saying those things kasi parang it validates not everyone actually goes through this situation, especially in this time, no? So, yun. So the reason why I really wanted to interview you is because for me, you really have a very eccentric style of illustration. And parang in the world of parang yung aesthetics ng mga tao is, okay, it needs to be nice, it needs to be uh, parang, alam mo yun, parang western-ish or something. So yung sa'yo, I cannot really pin down kung ano yung style that you have. So can you give us at least an origin story of that style?
Well, for me, the way I describe my illustrations would be, I mean, like it was described by people as comically grotesque, but then as I went through my illustration journey, I realized that they're not really that grotesque naman. Maybe in the beginning, but then like over time, diba, parang you kind of develop and then you realize na, oh, I don't really want it to look this, like grotesque, but I want also to draw some people na medyo cute. Yeah, but anyway, the way I would describe my work personally would be, in a nutshell, I like to draw funny looking people in everyday scenes. And ang tawag ko word, how it began. Well, I don't really know a specific time when, in terms of form, like how they look. I don't really remember a specific time na parang, I want this style. It's more of just like a consistent effort na parang I kept drawing naturally in like sketchbooks. And then I realized na, ay, ganito pala ako mag-drawing. Yeah, because before I would really draw like realistically, but then I wasn't happy. So like, I think a key indicator na where I found na parang this is the one for me is when I just really felt happy. But then like in terms of the overall theme naman, like diba, when you draw, diba dapat parang may purpose ka, diba, as an artist.
Mm-hmm.
I guess it came to that realization that at the end of the day, what I wanted people, like when they look at my art, I want them to basically laugh and smile, and they would see something that's very relatable to them, but at the same time, you're relatable, warm, but at the same time, um, something that would make them laugh and smile. Parang ganon. So, yun. That's how it began. And then develop na lang through college. So, yeah.
So, kasi yung style na yun, parang, eto ha, so if I would make a comparison to your style, it feels like, I'm looking at a Picasso. Yun yung sa akin I mean, nung una ko kasing nakita siya, I cannot remember nga lang when was the first time that I saw your art. But it really, stood out for me kasi, syempre, if you, kunyari, just, real talk, scroll down Instagram. Tapos, you would see a lot of great illustrators. But sometimes, um, they sort of have this same look na eh. Tapos yung yours, parang sabi ko, oh, this is a very strong look for an illustration. So, when did you pin this down? Kasi si Kitty, guess natin siya for last season. She pinned down her style. I mean, at least the original one. Very young. So ikaw, when did you get to, parang say na, this will be my style?
It was like in third year college. Doon na nagsisimula. Kasi, yeah, parang I would draw it. May parang subject kami na parang drawing class yun. Yeah, we had drawing classes, parang sketchbook every day, dapat mag-drawing. And then I remember, yung nag-org ako, it was like the school paper I came from Ateneo. Tapos, parang I became an editorial cartoonist. So parang, I mean, like you could see resemblance with caricatures, diba? Ish. So parang dun na-develop siya. I started drawing caricatures for them. And then I kind of like balance it out with my style. Because I don't want my style to look like caricatures, but a mellowed down version of them. Gets? Parang medyo cartoon, in the middle of cartoon and then caricature. So that's where it falls. Does that make sense?
Yeah, yeah,
So,
yeah.
yun. And then, yun, it really was there. When I started to draw for the school paper. And then I started joining Youngstar, very editorial, Youngstar, and then doing like my first editorial piece for Adobe magazine. So yun, and
Wait,
then
for
na-develop na
Adobe?
lang.
Adobe magazine?
Adobe magazine.
Oh my gosh, wow, very that
Yeah,
is very when was this?
third year, third year college or fourth year college.
That was very young of you. Tell us, how did you get that?
I don't know. I guess like I became more confident with that style when it yun nga, people started telling me, oh, you have this style, can you work for us? Parang there's a sense of validation. Now I wasn't really looking for that time yet, because I wanted to school to be a priority. So in a way, I guess blessing na rin yung naging validation na yun. So yun, it set the direction for me, I guess.
Wow. No, I mean, that's pretty amazing na at a very young age, you were still in school, and then you got these gigs already. So, parang another question with that would be, so people just found you? Parang ganun ba yung nangyari?
Yes, when I started to put my work on Instagram and before like Behance, but I don't use that anymore. Pero 'di ba parang dati big thing yung Behance. Yeah, or and Tumblr. I had a Tumblr before.
Of course, everyone
Is
had.
yun.
If you're an artist, the Tumblr.
Yun yung website ko dati. Wala pang budget pang website. So, yun muna. Parang si Kitty. Kitty is my idol. Diba? She's so young. She's so young.
Yeah,
Or
yeah,
she's
yeah.
everywhere.
Kitty is like so I'm also amazed with Kitty. Her professionalism at a very young age is very off the charts. And as for you, I mean, I'm amazed with how you have made a career with illustration, and I think a lot of people would also want to have the same path. But so after college, what happened?
So parang when college came, I mean when graduation came, parang sabi ko, I already knew that I wanted to do art and illustration. But some people, they're like, I mean, may fear talaga na parang may yung instability in that career, in that path. So, I went into graphic design. Kasi yun pala degree ko information design. So, I went to graphic design and then naging designer ako for like agencies. And then, nag-quit ako agad kasi I wasn't happy. Very, yung parang kapal na mukha. Wait lang. Uh, I wasn't really happy. So that's when I also realized that design and art and illustration are three different things, which I think people should know when they're in the creative field, that they're three different things. And for me, I realized that even it was my degree, I don't really feel that I'm fit to be called a designer. So um I label myself as an artist and illustrator. Even though I know design, but then I think like a designer. Because they're different.
Yeah, yeah.
Let's face it. So yun. And then at the end, parang ano na lang ako. I was like, oh, I'll jump. I'll freelance. Kasi wala na, I'm not happy na. Na-try ko na eh. For me, like a tip siguro, don't say no to something if you haven't tried it. So go to the path you don't want, go to the path that you don't really want to take first. So you can say na you really want to go to the path you want. Tama ba yun? Does it make sense?
Wow. So, like no regrets, kumbaga. No regrets.
Oh,
Sobrang
sorry.
sobrang I mean I think that's a stark difference with the younger generation of artists nowadays. Parang tanda ko naman. So I feel like parang you guys are really risk takers and you really want to do it your way. And I think that's beautiful. I think parang it's an old school style pa na way back na this is the path that I want to go and take. So I'm amazed with your journey. I'm amazed with your art. So artist, yun talaga siya, di ba? So I'm amazed with your art. And so my last question would be, so can you give us like solid tips on crafting your own illustration career here in the Philippines?
Okay. Um, crafting your own career. Okay, so number one, I guess I get asked about this style. They ask me like, well, first of all, disclaimer: I'm not like this super great person. Naman, I know what I'm doing. I think everything's based on experience, and I'm not saying it's right. Also, so first is style. So people ask me, how do you like get your style? For me, don't look for it, because for me, when you look for it, you end up copying someone else's. That's the typical outcome, kasi parang you're so into it na parang hinahanap mo, it should be like this, it should be like that, and then and it ends up something like it ends up looking like someone else's. And then so for me, what you need to find instead of your style is your voice. And your voice is your why. Your why is like parang your purpose. Diba sabi ko, for me, it's like, it's beyond that, of course. Pero of course, I want people to laugh. I want people to smile. So yun, kasi for me, style changes over time. But then voice doesn't. So you can always look back to that when you think na sawa na ako sa how this looks and ganun. But you always can look back to like why you started in the first place. So yeah, that's the first one. And then number two, network. It's not always gonna be about you putting good work out there. I mean, like now, siguro may pandemic, so you can't really go out. Pero you can do online networking naman. For me, like when you're starting out, um, surround yourself with the people who you want to be like. So these can be your friends, your idols, and make collabs, make passion projects with people, because even if you don't get clients, at least you can start on passion projects. And at the end of the day, people, the what do you call people, employers, the clients will look into these passion projects and say, marunong palang take initiative tong creative, yun. And then so yun, network and make passion projects. And then number three, I can't stress this enough, take breaks. Yeah, I feel like it's important, because if you pag sinagad mo sarili mo, you'll end up producing um hindi naman pangit, pero like half, mga bad word ba? I mean like half, basta hindi ka ganun ka-productive. Yun. Compared to like if you take breaks, if you like go on walks, or like kahit social media break, it helps then with your brain, with your creativity and your productivity. So yun, and your energy also, and your mental health, which is very important now. So yun for me. Yun for me. Three tips.
Ganda. Ganda. Sige, pero parang so what do you do as a mental break? Kasi, kunyari, ako, sometimes I exercise, sometimes I do something that's very unrelated, para lang din breaker.
Yeah,
So, ikaw?
exactly. Yun, for me, I mean, it's great when you can do something unrelated to your craft. So for you, working out, ako, baking. Ngayon, since pandemic, I don't know how to bake before, pero now, nagbe-bake na ako. Tapos ngayon, parang bago, bumili ako ng plant. So, nag-ano ko ngayon, nagpa-planting.
Ay,
Yeah,
planting ka na rin.
parang ano lang.
Sobrang ganda nung sinabi mo kanina because it reminds me of siguro as a parting note from my end naman is dung sa sinabi mo na you have to decide din kasi parang style changes pero your voice do not. Tapos parang meron din kasing point doon of actually um, deciding and deciding on what you want to be, parang ganun. And I'm reminded of this show that I'm watching right now. So I'm watching this K-drama called Startup. And it really is inspiring na meron dong part na the biggest factor that you need to have is to be able to decide. Kasi if you cannot, wala ka naman may please eh. There will always be
Mm-mm.
people who you wouldn't, who wouldn't agree with your
Exactly.
decision. So you have to decide
Exactly.
anyway. So yun, ang ganda.
Mm-hmm.
Ganda at a very young age that at least you guys know what you're doing. And I hope that this inspires other creatives when they watch this video. So
I
that's
hope.
all for this for this interview. And um, because I've ngayon lang kita na-meet eh. Ngayon lang kita na-meet through video call. So I hope that I meet you after all of this craziness. When things are better and we can really meet without being swab test, So I hope. So there. Thank you so much, Jill, and have a nice day.
Thank you.
All right, thank you.